morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to being here.
Yes, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Shia. Had to think about it for a moment.
Yes, you did. And today's episode, the theme is being moved
by life. It is so easy to get distracted into being upset or angry rather than to feel life.
You know, there's so many potential things to be moved by. The play of light on a surface, a fragrance.
Your kitty cat in the window.
Anything, if you're here for it. So, of course, the show is called Being Here. Shai and I do finish each other's sentences. And
Ariel and I have been together for almost 39 years.
It's moving on that way.
Yeah.
Not quite, but we're moving there. 38 and a half.
That's almost
it's 39. It's
kind
of like this many.
That's almost like 39.
Yeah. That's like you're being almost 80.
Yeah.
Although that's closer, just a couple weeks
now. A few weeks now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. You know, being almost 80, it's about allowing myself to stay alive. And by that, I mean to be moved by the little things that happen in each moment of my life that I can engage in, like my kitty cat and how she engages in the movement of a feather. You can get engaged in whatever's happening in your life, or you can try to get to the important things. And here's the ticket. There are no important things, and everything is important.
That's one of life's great paradoxes.
Yeah. You know, if you're thinking something in the future is more important than this moment of your life, well, when you get to the future, there will be another future that will be more important than that moment of your life, and you'll miss out on your life. See, life is to be lived this moment at a time, not someday when you achieve your bucket list, because that means you got to die too.
Oh, you know, another thing to be moved by, the ability to take a breath.
Well, you know, a lot of people have COVID these days and they have a real hard time taking a breath. So you could appreciate that breath.
Or you could try to get your to-do list done. You could worry about the future.
You could think about reading that book that is so esoteric and so full of sophisticated ideas.
Of how to be a better you.
That's right.
Or you could live right here.
Right now, in this moment of your life.
Now, part of living right here, right now, includes listening. Because you're listening to this podcast. And you can either be listening or your mind could be darting off to other things. Oh, I want to tell you something about sex the other night. I didn't tell you this.
Oh, I'm interested. We had sex the other night.
We did.
Good.
Or afternoon, whenever the time of day it was. When we first started making love with each other, my mind was darting off to 1,000 different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it was a little bit like becoming untethered to all the concerns outside the moment, whether it was emails or holiday gifts or family or health or community members or the different things that I had either on my to-do list or my mind.
Yes.
And it was a little bit like little strings were popping until I got more and more in my hands and more in the sensations we were providing for each other and more in being here right now. So if your mind is darting around right now, it's not a bad thing.
It's normal.
This is the opportunity to allow yourself to become untethered to outside concerns and allow yourself to be right here, right now, which makes you extremely powerful at anything you do, and it certainly makes you satisfied.
And that will happen by listening.
To actually hear what's being said.
Because listening, the act of listening without passing what's being said through your judgmental mind allows you to get into the current moment of your life. The act of listening is enough to pull you here and now. And that's extraordinary because most people don't realize that. Most people go to meditation centers to learn how to quiet their mind, but meditating doesn't quiet your mind. You just get to watch it.
I just heard our cat. She's like, it's like life is a trilling experience for her.
Trilling.
We have a guest.
Let's take him.
All right. First guest, Mr. Michel. You with us?
Hi guys, this is Michel in New York City.
Welcome to our podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're doing this through Zoom, this show or this podcast. And so we actually get to see Michel as he's talking with us. And it's really quite exciting.
How is your newly married life going?
Oh, thank you. It feels very good. It's just nice calling Susan now my wife and not just my fiance. So it's really fun.
That's
That's sweet.
Yeah.
What can we do for you today, sir?
Yeah, well, I really love the title of the show, Being Moved by Life, because it really doesn't take a lot to be moved by life. And I noticed that situations where I don't see the beauty or where I'm not moved by life is when I'm disappointed, and mainly at work. Because I'm in the process of handing over my job to my successor, and I have been working with him for a year now, and I find myself regularly disappointed and consequently also frustrated. So
I have a question. Is it that he's thick or you're brilliant?
Thick as in being slow, you mean?
Slow.
Yeah.
Slow to take up things that you're explaining to him.
Because he doesn't listen. See, he doesn't listen. He thinks about what you say to him, which keeps him in a state of limbo where he's not really there to hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep repeating yourself because he doesn't really get it.
That's so true. I have the impression that he is not listening because he's not stupid. And that's why I struggle to see or to understand why he's not showing up as I expect him to show up. And he makes this, I think he's also rushed because he does a lot of small mistakes, which are preventable.
You could train him to listen. And how you do that, Michel, is stop talking whenever he follows a thought and leaves. And you're aware enough to see when he follows a thought and leaves, and you realize you're talking to dead space.
I have a question. How long have you known us, roughly?
I would say about 3 years.
Okay, so in those 3 years, you've attended a lot of our Living Made Easy seminars, both live and virtually.
Yes.
You've attended weekends with us, both live and virtually, and some one-day events. And you've also come with us to Costa Rica, back when we could go to Costa Rica. Fingers crossed we can go again. Do we talk about listening a lot?
You do indeed talk a lot about listening, yes.
How often have we gotten frustrated with you because you didn't catch the full essence of listening?
Well, I'm not sure, but now that you mention it, I assume it must have been a lot of times. And
No.
You see,
how many times did you
see,
experience us being frustrated with you?
You get frustrated. You don't see us getting frustrated with you when you don't listen.
that's true.
What it is, it's our passion to express something that could radically transform a person's experience of their life, their family, the people around them, that they when you catch the essence, and you catch the essence, and then sometime later you catch the essence again, maybe in a deeper format. It's not that you weren't listening and we were frustrated that you missed things. It's that there's another possibility and another possibility.
Well, here's the thing. The realm of transformation is a unique phenomena. It doesn't exist in the real world, if you will. By the real world, I mean the world that people live in and assume to be reality. Listening doesn't really exist there, where you suspend judgment to hear what another person has to say, where you intentionally do not disagree or agree, but hear what another person's saying. So that's a unique, rather radically new idea. But I've talked about listening, Ariel's talked about listening with you hundreds of times now. And sometimes you get it, but you really get it. And you go, oh, that's what they're talking about. But your mind is this machine that disregards. What's your, the person who's taking your job, what's his first name?
His first name is Nicola.
Nicola. Nicola doesn't intentionally disregard what you have to say. It's just that his mind is like a herd of cats. Can you imagine trying to herd cats? They're not herd animals.
I remember once, Michelle, many, many years ago, Shai and I went out on a fishing boat off Manuel Antonio and Capos in Costa Rica. It was our day off, and we took a couple friends with us who'd never been out on the ocean in a boat. And we'd be like, oh, look, there's fish coming up over there. Oh, look. And for them, it was just an expanse of nothing. And in that moment, we realized how much we had learned over the years and that we had been out on the water. So then it was to describe to them how to see the nuances so that they could see the wake of a boat from far away rippling out over the water, or they could see birds diving and what that meant, or they could see if there was swells rather than it was nothing. For them, originally it was nothing because there was no ability to pull out the nuance.
To discern the uniqueness of each moment.
But the interesting thing, I'm going to use another fishing analogy. I guess I have it on my mind today. Shai and I have learned multiple kinds of fly fishing over the years, and we've had many different guides and many different coaches. And there have been two kinds of coaches. One I personally have responded really well to, and one that I find when they come near, I get stupid. And the one that I do well with, in particular, our friend Travis, is he's a very non-cerebral, he's a visceral guy. He doesn't have the idea about how I should do it better. He just looks and sees, and he doesn't pick on me in his thoughts. He just sees, oh, she's rushing that part of the stroke, or she's gripping her rod too hard, or oh, she's not using enough underhand. And he's not even compelled to tell me how to do it better until I have an interest. Then there's the other kind who's already hard on themselves, and they pick on me incessantly in their thoughts. And then when they come near me, I have the most challenging time executing anything elegantly because they have the expectation I'm going to be an idiot like they think they are. this ringing any bells for you?
Well, in fact, it does. Yeah.
It really starts with being kind to yourself.
Being kind to yourself first. Because if you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to your universe and everything and everybody in it.
And I want to circle back around to Shai's initial question to you, because I think you had that phenomena that happens when we have the windshield wiper effect, where we don't want to hear something because it's inconvenient. He asked you if this person was thick, meaning they were kind of slow on the uptake, or is it that you haven't recognized your brilliance? And we radically went away from, you're like, thick? What do you mean by thick? You didn't want to look at the
Brilliance part of it. And what's interesting is, I mean, you met us in Cambridge, England, I believe, at a seminar that you attended there. Oh yes, it was Andrea.
Speak up first.
Yeah, but it was Andrea, your voice teacher, your singing teacher, who recommended us. And you saw something in her that was different than other people. And you said, I want some of that. And then you came to that seminar.
And had some of that.
And now you're in our lives. From the get-go, before we ever met you, there is a brilliance of seeing and recognizing something that sometimes people have to work hard to uncover. And you can either be irritated with Niccolo, or you can treat him like a puzzle. Like, how do I get the pieces to fit so Niccolo experiences himself as brilliant as he actually is? Now, the other thing is this. In the role of teacher, where you're teaching Niccolo, your job, you become a father figure. And I really doubt that he gets along well with his father. So he's going to manifest the same behavior he has towards his father, towards you. Now, when you get annoyed with him, it gives him attention. So he does things that you get annoyed with. He gets his attention, but it doesn't fulfill him. And it doesn't get him to learn your job. So you may need a new tactic called not getting annoyed with him.
There's also the bigger prospect, which is that the more you discover how to sidestep that automatic annoyance, it's something that completes something for you, but it also completes the repeating nature of his relationship with his dad, or with men, or with bosses or authority figures. You're creating something new all the way around. And I know that you're not only a scientist. I know that you're not only a molecular biologist. I know that you're not just one thing, but you have an interest in many, many things, including the well-being of the people who are around you. But it starts with you, Michelle.
Thank you so much. This is brilliant.
Well, thank you for being brilliant. So you could recognize the brilliance in it.
In case you are listening and you don't know, Selva is German for it takes one to know one.
Thank you so much, guys.
You're so
very,
welcome.
very welcome.
Hey, you want to hear about transformation?
Mm-hmm.
We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to being here.
Hi, I'm Corrine from Long Branch, New Jersey, and I'm 66 years old. I started a brand new career about 2 years ago. I became a real estate agent, and I am so loving doing something new and fresh. And I have a partner, and my partner's in her 30s, and I love learning from somebody who's in their 30s, and I love learning a whole new business and expressing my passion in a brand new way. And I'm somebody who owned their own company for 20 years. So jumping into something new was interesting. I guess that's the best way to put it. But I really am so grateful I did. And I really believe that transformation's given me that opportunity to see that I don't have to live based on an age. I've just been given a gift. I can do whatever I want whenever I want it. And it's been great.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have several upcoming courses. Our Living Made Easy virtual seminars. The next one is this Saturday and then Monday, the 23rd and the 25th. We have a couple of special evenings, Magical Relationships special seminars, Monday, February 8th and Tuesday, February 9th. And the 9th is again translated into German, and it is at a special time. For the European community, it's 1:30 Eastern time, 7:30 p.m. European time, 6:30 p.m. UK time. If you'd like to join us for our Magical Relationship seminars or for our weekend Being Moved by Life on February 27th and 28th, you can find out more and register
at transformationmadeeasy.com.
And I see we already have our guest here, Sandy. So why don't you unmute yourself, Sandy, and introduce yourself and say hi to all the listeners.
Hi, this is Sandy Oken from Montville, New Jersey in my studio. And I'm so pleased to be here and to be with you guys.
Well, we're pleased to have you, Sandy. What can we do for you?
Yeah, when I first heard the title about being moved by life, I recently moved my studio and my shop and a warehouse. So my moving part went there. And even though in the beginning, it kind of took up my mind and spending Monday nights with you guys, and we did a couple other things during the week. It helped clear my mind, and I started seeing things resolving without me, forcing them. And you always say to me is make it my idea and it will be perfect. And it's so true. It's amazing how well that stuff unfolded. But now when I think about being moved by life, past couple of weeks, my family, we worked really hard to stay safe, try not to get any contact with any COVID. I've came close a couple of times. We all took tests. All our tests came back negative, and we decided to get together. So it was just absolutely awesome seeing my grandkids. I haven't seen the 6 of them together in like over 6 months. So it was really something really special. And getting to understand better about listening, I didn't force myself, but I started listening to my grandkids, even if it was ga, like the one who was like 7 months old, to my oldest, who was 9 years old, who's got a vocabulary that is unbelievable. But this getting in the moment with them and listening to them we created, I always thought I had a good bond with them, but I think the bond got even greater. I could just feel it, even, if you don't hug around the face, we hug at the hips, so this way we're not really getting just the closest we get, which was totally awesome to feel another body, like hugging you in these times. So I know I would never be at this situation without meeting you guys. And it's been so joyful. Every time I think I'm kind of understanding it, my next time I get together with you guys, I seem to think less but understand more, if that makes sense.
I have an idea for you. First of all, how lovely that you got to spend time with your grandkids and that you guys weighed the options and you got tests and you came together and it was a successful reunion. I'm an intermittent Facebook user. And so one of the things I've noticed over the years is one of the things that brings you the most delight is your ability to spend time with your grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can either hold them as this special bright spot in your life, which clearly they are, or you can hold them as a possibility for all areas of your life. That you intersect with them in a way where you open your heart and you're there with them and you allow yourself delight. Like as I was talking to you, my gaze went to my right, and we have our kitten, who's 9 months old now, laying on a red chair over there, and her eyes slid open, and she's a source of delight. But she's not more delightful than, say, Shia or the chair I'm sitting in or the tea that I'm drinking.
Well, you bring the value to it. It's you who puts value on your grandchildren. Some people find their grandchildren annoying. So they don't put value.
It's not that the grandchildren are inherently delightful. They're the access way to your delight. And what we're saying is you can aim that delight or allow yourself to experience it in other areas. It won't take away from your grandchildren. It'll only open the portal of possibility wider. It's so easy to be jaded about one area of your life rather than have that delight
Everywhere.
potential everywhere.
Yeah, that's it's well put to open up. I've used this expression before when I first met you. It kind of opens another door in my mind. I'm a visual person, so I visually see things versus to say a statement. So it's like opening another door, and it just like.
Well, here's the thing. I tell me how long you've known us.
I think it's close to 3 years now.
Okay, good. See, I've watched you listen to what we had to say and try to fit it into what you already knew.
Are you talking about that now or in the past?
Well, it's both.
Okay.
It's much less now than it has been in the past, because in the past, you were defended as if your not knowing was some kind of shortcoming.
You know, you have a tell, Sandy. I used to do this and then I'd get really tired. I'd do it at seminars. Like somebody'd be talking to me and I used to show that I was listening by doing this. I'd just squinch my eyes ever so slightly like I was listening and taking it in. Just try relaxing everything and not, in fact, for a moment, close your eyes. As you said, you're a visual person. Let's see if we open some of your other portals.
Yeah, because you see, visual is the way you've looked at life. But what if you are a highly intuitive being that feels? And feeling is a little frightening because you can't control it as well. But if you use your eyes, you can control it much better. You know, you open your eyes, okay, I'm back again. No, see if you can allow yourself not to know.
And the nuance of sound to come into you in a way that is moving, that you don't rely only on the visual, even the visual constructs in your mind to save you from the intensity and the intimacy of this moment.
A feeling of experiencing.
Just take a deep breath for a moment.
Through your mouth. Through your mouth, through your mouth. No, that's blowing out through your
That's
mouth.
good.
Take the next one in through your mouth.
And
Yeah.
then- And let your
Yeah,
lips
that-
relax even.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And you can let your eyes come open. It's nice to
Nice.
see you.
Nice.
See you.
Now I have a question. I know you were expressing yourself and it was lovely. Did you have a question for us today?
Yeah, I try, well, I shouldn't, I'm gonna start over again. I
Okay.
find sometimes when I get moved by something, moved in life, and it's not what I expected or whatever. When I'm on a seminar or I'm with someone else from our community, I kind of let the moment take me in, and I kind of don't get stuck on it. But when I'm by myself, let's say, I'm in my car or something like that, I have a harder time to stop that, to stop the noise or that conversation. I've gotten better.
Slow down for a second.
Yes.
What if you don't need to
Stop the
stop
noise.
the noise, stop the conversation? That's the conversation, having a conversation that you should stop the conversation.
3 principles. Anything you don't like, don't want, try to get rid of, persist,
Persist.
grow stronger, dominates your experience of driving.
Mhm.
Second principle, you can only be exactly as you are in any given instant. And third principle, anything you allow, anything you see and allow to be as it is completes itself. And that's what I was talking about sex and becoming untethered. If I would have resisted having a noisy mind,
That's where she would be stuck.
and I never would have had an intimate experience. But allowing it and having that be the full expression of the perfection of me, it was almost as if I could hear things ping as they let go of me. It was really quite lovely. So if, for instance, if you're in the car and your mind is noisy and you revel in it, it'll calm down. But of course, you can't revel in it in order
To get rid of
to
it,
calm down.
see, you can't manipulate it to, whenever you think, I could stop there. Whenever you think a better you would be something other than what you are, that's your mind trying to control your universe to achieve what it considers better. But you see, that model, that schematic, that way of looking at life, that paradigm includes itself. Einstein said you cannot solve a problem from within the system that created the problem. Well, you are a closed circuit. You are a system of behavior that you were enculturated into. You learned to be that way. Now, if you see a problem, that's from in the system. That's what the system says there's a problem. There's not a problem, Sandy, that you have a noisy mind. That's just a fact. But in Sandy's system, a noisy mind is less than a quiet mind. It's not as good as. It shows some inconsistency, a failing on your part. But it's not. It's just a noisy mind.
The other thing is you have no clue how much has happened for you because you are living in your new normal. But if I were to show you a video of the Sandy we first met, the concerns you had about yourself, the amount you were being hard on yourself, it had it hard for you to articulate anything. And you're so much more a relaxed being. It's so lovely. It's always been lovely to be with you, but I suspect it's more lovely for you to be with you.
And it's not that you're telling yourself to be a certain way. You just are being you right now. No place to get to.
Mhm. It's
know.
lovely. It really is. You say the word lovely. It has been lovely. I can't 100% go back to when I first met, but I could remember. And yes, life seems a lot more wonderful. There's less things getting in my way. It's
Well,
You're less guarded.
Mhm.
See, when you're guarded, when you think that there's something that we will see that will have you appear less to us, you protect yourself from being seen. But that's because your self-image is that there's some defect. In our reality, you are a perfect Sandy. You couldn't be different, than you are. You're perfect. And we accept and actually admire and love that about you. So there's nothing you need to change or fix to be acceptable to us. We accept you as you are, but it's more than accept. We are moved by who you are. Okay. Now, the problem is that you have a mind, and that mind thinks that it's defective because of all the reasons it's told itself over all the years. So the game, Sandy, is to relax and realize that your life is a happening and you can enjoy the ride.
and I want to go back and reiterate one of your brilliances from the beginning of our conversation, which I have a feeling some people missed. Because you were talking about moving, as in moving from one studio to the next. And we were also talking about being moved by life. So they might have missed that when you needed to leave the studio where you created your work and your artwork, where you'd been for a long time, it was a challenging, unwelcome, difficult prospect at the beginning. It was not something you would have preferred, not something you wanted to do. And there wasn't a lot of real estate available for your needs. And what you purposefully did was kept engaging as if it was your idea, as if it was something you wanted to do, as if it was not only perfect, but you couldn't wait to do it. And it was a moment by moment choice. Whenever you found a place and it wasn't the place, I'm sure there were disappointments, but you kept stepping into each moment to the best of your ability, as if it was your idea to begin with. And ultimately, you came up with having a partner, moving into a place you couldn't have expected or couldn't have rented on your own. It turned out better than you could have expected. That took great courage, because there's so many things in our lives that if we could, we'd love them to just stay the way they were, because it's just so freaking inconvenient to have to try and do something new. And both Sean and I really admire how you went about that, because we know it was a challenge, and just well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And just in case you missed it, Sandy was giving you hints about how you can have that for yourself and how you can be moved by life, because he said, and you may have missed it, being moved went out the window the moment he said no to the circumstances as they are. When you step into them as if they're your idea, there's the potential to smell or feel the hand cream on your hands, or taste your cup of coffee or tea, or really enjoy your grandchildren, rather than thinking life will get better when. It's probably
Yes.
a good place to leave it, right?
Right.
Thanks for being with us today, Sandy.
Thank you so much for having me. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love
Doc.
you too, man. Well, if you want to be a guest on the show, or you would like to submit a listener spotlight, you're welcome. Just go up to transformationmadeeasy.com//being here and find out how. Next week's podcast, by the way, is called Ha Ha Ha. Oh, yes. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
Being